Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Tammy coming to you live from my office for Sunday sermon, and I am live in a couple of places, and I'm not live in places that I normally am, and it makes me very nervous to be live the places that I am. So as you jump on here, please say hello and tell me where you're watching from. Like I said, I am live in a couple of places today, and this morning, I'm telling you right now, start tagging your friends. Do not scroll past me. This morning, I've been up all night. Like, I literally have slept maybe on and off 2 hours because today's message came in so rapid fire that I had to get up and write things down because today's message is on fire today, right? Today's message is on fire, and I'm going to need y'all to be here for it. Today's message, good morning, good morning. I am making my coffee as well. I just got my first cup. Today's message was so important that I got up after not sleeping. Planned on putting on makeup. I did not get that far. I did take a shower, and I'm wearing a bra for this. That tells you how important this is on a Sunday morning, that before I even had my first cup of coffee, I showered and put a bra on so that nobody would scroll past me because boobies were everywhere, right? So if you are here today, you are here in one of three places. You are here watching from my timeline, which is so nerve-wracking to me. There's a lot of things I do in my private groups and a lot of things that I talk about in my private groups because they are my safe spaces, right? They are communities that I created and that they are safe spaces. So I say the things I want to say. So the fact that I'm live here on my personal page, oh my goodness, big deal for me, especially for Sunday sermon for some reason. That has always been, hey, Kathleen, hello, everybody. I'm loving it. So do me a favor and tag a friend. You want them here for this. They can see this in a couple of different places. I am fired up. I'm telling y'all, like last night, the moon was still a little full, right? And this information has been coming in. I have been trying to organize it, and I've not been able to. And I got note cards out, right? And I realized, and this is where I get nervous about my timeline because I'm going to say something right now that's kind of crazy, right? I feel like, right, in a past life after the last couple of days, the way that these things have been coming in, I really feel like in a past life I had to have been like a fire and brimstone preacher of some kind, like a preacher of some kind, because I feel like, and I feel like I might have been like a Pentecostal preacher. And I'm not making fun of the Pentecostals. I'm not. I promise you. I grew up Pentecostal, and I've always felt comfortable in the Pentecostal church. Like the louder it is, the more like hallelujah it is. I've always felt comfortable in that. And I've always felt a little like, is this church whenever it's a little quiet, right? And I've gone to both extremes. And this morning is Sunday sermon at the church of Tammy Nelson, right? And hello, Dolores, from New York. What's going on? So here's what we're going to do today. Okay. We've got a couple of, we have a couple of topics today. We have one topic today, right? The topic today is victim versus victor. And which are you, right? Which are you? Are you a victim or a victor? And that's what today's topic is about. And the first thing that I want to talk about, right? Energy is on fire today. Energy is on fire today. I'm telling y'all right now, I am pumped up. I have been talking in Party with Tammy. I have been talking in Hometown Hippie. I have been talking on my YouTube channel, which is the other place I'm live today. I have been talking, good morning, Rachel. I have been talking in my bathroom lives about how you cannot pour from an empty cup, right? I talk about self-care and how self-care is not selfish and you have to love yourself, right? Now, tell me in the comments. I'm gonna need some participation today. So tell me in the comments, okay? Tell me in the comments. Good morning, Steve. What do you do? What do you think self-care is? Like, tell me something you do for self-care. I want to know what your self-care routine looks like. So tell me in the comments, what are some things you do for self-care. Because here's what I'm going to tell you. This is how this whole kind of thing came in, and what I've been kind of like journaling and keeping in my I think I'm still both. Yeah, and a lot of us are, right? A lot of us are, and we're going to talk about that today. But what do you do for self-care? Like, what does your self-care look like? When I say, do something for self-care, right? I want to know what you do, right? What do you do for self-care? Hey, nails done monthly. Okay. And I'm glad that Rachel said this, because this is where I'm going with this today, right? This is where I'm going with this. So I have been preaching and preaching and preaching since the beginning of my whole, like, and what is some other things that y'all do for self-care? Please comment today. I promise you it's going to be worth it. I need the interaction. She says she does her nails done monthly is something she does for self-care. Somebody else chime in. I'd like to see what else you do. I'm going to tell you some things that I do once I get a couple more responses. And I am going to wait for those responses because they are important to this conversation. Okay. So, when I talk about self-care, and I got all these things popping over my phone. So I apologize for that. But tell me, what are some things that you do for self-care? There are 9 of you watching. Only Rachel's put herself out here. So I'm expecting somebody else to start tippity tapping on those comments about what do you do for to fill your cup. Rachel says she gets her nails done monthly, right? And a lot of people, when I talk about self-care and self-love and taking care of yourself, that is initially like what we have been. Okay, that just popped in here. It's only a few minutes. I'll pause to do whatever I need for me, hairs, nails, burn some flowers, whatever I need in that moment. Kathleen says, I get my nails done too. Melanie says, quiet time for yourself, the relaxation for your body, mind, and soul. Just sitting in quiet, closing eyes, having things around me, focusing on what sound, breathing exercises. I love that. Take long candle baths. Dennis says, I have quiet time and do something that I enjoy. Dolores says, I go see my grandbabies. Those are all things, right, that can fill your cup up, that are self-care things for you. But here's what I'm going to tell you. When I'm talking about self-care, when I am talking about filling up your cup, when I am talking about stepping out of victim into victor, I am not talking about those, and I don't mean these in any kind of bad way. So do not take offense to what I am getting ready to say, right? I am saying, and I love this, sometimes it's just getting ready every day, right? Those are actionable things, right? Like go see somebody, go get my nails done, go get my hair done, stop and do breathing exercises. But what I'm going to ask you about, right, when I talk about filling up your cup and doing the work on yourself and taking care of yourself, right? To me, what I have done to take care of myself has not been always a haircut or nails or a meditation. It has been things like staying up all night long, getting the information, and then working with the information and doing something with it. It is that it's like, do you know self-love? And have you ever told your like a family member or a child, it's time for some tough love? It's time for some tough love. When I talk about self-care, when I talk about after you have learned, right? So step one in self-care is getting you to understand that you deserve attention, right? So if the first step in self-care for you, if you do nothing for yourself, you feel guilty for getting your hair done, you feel guilty for taking a bath, you feel guilty for going to get your nails done, you feel guilty for going to see your grandkids when you have work to do around the house, right? When you get past that, you can do those things in a spirit of doing for you because you deserve it, right? That is step one in self-care. That is step one in self-care, right? Heather just ding, ding, ding. Number one answer. Heather just knocked it out of the ballpark. Once you get past the superficial, like I did something for me, right? I stayed in pajamas all day and I didn't even care that anybody talked about it because I am okay with that, right? That is step one. Step two is looking inward, looking at that shadow work and doing the hard things to better yourself. And this is where the next part of this discussion is starting. This is where it came in. This whole thing is because I have been getting this huge, huge, huge message about self-care. They don't understand it, Tammy. They're not getting what you're saying. I get what, I was like, but they have to at least people have to do something for themselves first. And a lot of people do nothing for themselves at all, right? They do nothing for themselves at all, right? Then I'm gonna tell this is I've been talking self-care. So the first step in my evolution of being a coach, a leader, a healer, whatever, was to understand that the first step is that you have to start understanding that you matter and that you need to carve out small little pockets of things that you can do for you, right? That is like the foundation. The foundation. And getting your nails done and taking a bath and stopping to breathe is literally just part of everyday life. It should be, right? That is just regular stuff. I don't believe that some people just like, that's part of me having to like go to, like, part of my going to work every day. When I went to a professional job, getting my nails and my hair done was not as much for me as it was for my job. It was part of a business expense, right? But still, carving out the time is step one, and it lays the foundation. Step two is where the rubber meets the road. And a lot of y'all have been along for the ride. A lot of y'all have gotten the lip service, right? And you've gotten the conversation of start carving out time for yourself. Taking a nap is, you deserve rest. It's not a luxury to be able to get rest, right? But here is where the rubber meets the road, right? Here's where the rubber is going to meet the road. And here's where we're coming into, are you a victim or a victor, right? And a victim and a victor look at things very differently, and they approach life very differently, right? Now, I want y'all to tell me, right, what you think you are. Are you a victor or a victim? And someone said that they think that they're a little bit of both still. But let's talk about what the differences in the two, right? The differences in a victor or a victim. So number one, right? None of us can control outside influences, right? We cannot control the world. Heather cannot control Dennis. Dennis cannot control Rachel. Dolores cannot control Melanie. Melanie cannot control Heather. Y'all understand what I'm saying, right? We are our own individual things. The world is going to happen. I can't control whether or not Russia invades Ukraine, right? I can't change the outcome of the cost of groceries. I can't change the outcome of what this group of people do on the street, or that group of people do over there in the store. Or I have zero control over the world, right? But when you look at your mindset, right, when you're like, well, I can't control that, it's just woe is me, right? The gas prices are high. It hurts my feelings. Here's what I'm going to tell you. You cannot control what happens, but you can control how you respond. Your response is either from a victim or a victor standpoint. Does that make sense? Can I get some thumbs up, some hearts, some O faces, some hallelujah amens in the comments if you don't mind? Again, I'm fired up today. This message came in hot. It came in strong. It came in important. Someone or lots of people need to hear this. Okay. So which are you? You understand that? Does that make sense? You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. Now, when I tell y'all these messages came in hot, they came in furious. We went from 10 to 6. There's a lot of victims that could not watch this. A lot of victims were like, I can't. She's crazy, right? Because here's what the differences are, right? Here is what the differences are. A victim. Look what you did to me, right? Look what that person did to me. Look what they did to me, right? That's a victim. And every aspect of it, I'm telling y'all, today is not the unicorns, the rainbows, the fluffy, whatever we call it. Today is that tough self-love. I'm going to say it because you can look what she did to me. Look what she did to me. She pissed me off. She hurt my feelings. Look what she did to me. What does a victor do, right? A victim says, look what you did to me. Look what that person did to me. Look what I allow. Look what you did to me, right? How dare you? Victim blames, right? A victor says, look what I did for myself. Despite of, look what I did for myself, right? You see the difference in that? Victim, victor, powerful, all the things that kind of go together, right? A victim says, I can't succeed. A victor says, I will succeed. Victim, I can't do it, right? I can't. And victims are full of excuses, right? Victims A victim will find excuses. A victim always finds excuses. You ever have that friend? Anybody can anybody relate to this one? A victim finds excuses. Anybody ever had that friend who comes to you that wants to talk? Oh, my life is awful. Oh, look what they did to me. Look what they did to me. Right? Look what they did to me. I can't succeed. And every time you give them, I can't succeed. Look what they did to me. I can't succeed. And you try to help them, and they give you an excuse as why they can't. That can't work. That can't work. Here's the excuse why. Here's the excuse why, right? Here's why. Here's why. Here's why. Here's why. I stop offering help. Because until that person moves out of that victim finding excuses mentality, because the victor finds a way. The victor finds a way. I always say the victim is because of, and the victor is despite of. Does that make sense? Right? I'm going to be victorious despite of it. You're right. Look what I did for myself, right? I removed myself from a toxic environment. They didn't kick me out. I removed myself from that because I will succeed, and here's how I'm going to do it, right? See how that sounds? Lose a job, right? I've lost a job. Look what they did to me. Look what they did to me. They fired me. I was only late every other day. I don't know what happened. They fired me. Look what they did to me. I will never succeed because nobody loves me. They're out to get me. Every time I try something, it messes up. Well, why don't you try this? Because I can't, because that never works for me. That is a victim. And y'all know it. Y'all have lived this. We've all lived this. At one point in our life, right, you just let go of 30 years. Bye, right? You're on point with that. Yes, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like, right? But in the moment when you were that victim, look what they did to me. It'll never happen. Finding excuses, you don't realize, right? You feel, what do? A victim feels attacked, right? And you're like, your friends offer excuses, right? Like, oh, they're picking on me. They're picking on me. Victim feels attacked. I put that twice. It must be very important. The victim, right? Just leave me alone. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Right? Look what they did to me, right? I can't succeed. Finding a million reasons why. Everybody's attacking me. Just leave me alone. And that's a victim. Does that make sense? Does that sound like victim? Does that sound like victim behavior? Does that sound victim-ish to you? Right? And here's the thing. All you have to do is change. You can't control what happens. You cannot control what happens, but you can control how you respond, right? I just showed you the victim response to things, right? Look what I did for myself. I obviously did not want this job, right? I did this to myself. I made a way that I didn't have an option but to leave this nasty job. This job was killing me, so I was being late to it. So I was already self-sabotaging. That's what a victor says, right? I lost the job, but I did it for myself because I did it to myself, right? There's consequences and actions, right? Even though I lost that job, I will succeed because there's something better out there for me. Despite the world, I'm going to find a way. You go to your friend and tell them that story, like, you're right. I'm not looking for excuses. Those are all great opportunities and all great options. I'm going to jump on some of those. And they push you and they push you. Are you going to do it now? You don't feel attacked. The victim feels attacked. You're like, hell yeah. Thank you for pumping me up. I'm here to push you. So if you're watching my lives and you feel attacked, you're a victim. If you feel pushed, you're a victor. I'm just letting you know, right? If you're like, just stop talking shit about my life because you must be talking to me, just leave me alone, right? And if you're somebody who's like, yeah, this sounds like me, but keep making me better. Keep pushing me to do more because I can do it. Despite of the world, I'm going to find a way. I am going to make a way because I am not the sum of the things that happen to me. I am the sum of how I react to the things that happen to me. Shit happens to everybody, y'all. Crazy stuff happens. The world piles up. There's fights. There's arguments. There's money. There's health. There's all the things.
I need you to text me the address.
Got you right now. My husband's going to get my refrigerator, and I have to give him the address. So this is what you just said. Like, I have come very few to us from my energy on. Yeah, and sorry, y'all. I got to do this real quick. I always feel pushed and encouraged in here. I'm glad that you feel pushed and encouraged in here because that's what I want you to feel, right? I want you to feel pushed and encouraged, but I want you to realize that self-love is being able, right? Sorry. Oh my gosh. Sorry, y'all. That throat chakra got like real crazy. Accountability, exactly. That's what I'm talking about, right? That's what I'm talking about. Accountability for your actions is self-love. It is self-care. It is all of those things. All right, babe. Are you taking Evan, right? I'm trying to find an address for my husband, and I have to send it to him. He's going to pick up my refrigerator, and I have the address. Oh my gosh, y'all. You ever have like a conversation? You're like, oh my gosh, and I hate to do this to y'all. I hate to like. I was fired up, and he was like, I hate to bother you, but I need that address. Oh my gosh. Okay. Copy. Okay. So I had to send that. It's a crazy long address. Let's do. Holy crap. Sorry, y'all. I am so bad. I can't do one thing. So let's do this. So this is what Danny says. The world isn't made up of unicorns, crapping Skittles, and burping. Stand up for yourself and don't let others control your life. When they live through you, they will become a lifelong victim. You know, here's the thing. It's not about other people, right? It's not about us dealing with victims. It is about people who are victims needing to stand into their power, right? Needing to stand into your power. And we have been so taught for so long that things happen to us and we don't understand that things happen through us. There's a lesson in everything, right? And things happen that suck. Now, I am not saying that you don't stand in the moment of things can suck. Life can be hard. And here's the thing, right? Everybody has a moment of a victim, right? When crappy things happen, you're like, oh man, you just can't unpack and live there. There are hills and valleys, right? The lower, like there's going to be valleys, and you have to understand that there's ups and downs in life. You just can't live in the downs. You just can't live in the downs. You have to be able, right? You have to be able to control how it happens to you. Control your mindset. Control how you respond, right? Because I don't know why this is not working, but you can't control what happens, but you can control how you respond. I tell people, take the moment, right? Realize that life's going to come at you, but you have to be stronger and have more fortitude and get through it. Now, here's what I say about it all, right? Living, it is what it is. And, you know, Danny, here's what I'm going to tell you. I love that you can take it on the chin, right, and keep it moving. But what I'm going to tell you is this, right? Things can be what they can be. But I'm going to encourage everyone as a victor. This is going to be the hard part. This is the hard part. This is the part that I've been struggling with trying to communicate, right? It is what it is, right? I have some more notes. I didn't get a chance to put in here, okay? A victim tells and wants comforting lies, right? Wants comforting lies. And a victor wants the unpleasant truth. Because here's the thing. It is what it is. And Heather, it's like you read my mind. It is also exactly what I was going to say. What I make it, right? Because the victim will be like, it is what it is. Like the world just happens. The victor will try to make it better, right? Will push and find a way to make it better. I do not claim this bullshit. I am not claiming this life of it is what it is. That's the uncomfortable, unpleasant truth, right? The comforting lie, right, is it is what it is. I can't control it. The unpleasant truth is it is what it is because it's of my making. And I can make it better by making better choices. Because here's what I'm going to tell you, right? If you're living in that victim mentality, it's because of choices. This goes back into what my wake and bake was the other day, right? Do hard things. Do the harder thing, right? Yeah, I love that, Tammy. I'm more of a victor than I thought. And that's because you're doing the work, Heather. You're in that shadow work and you recognize. And that's the thing. A lot of times we don't see how victorious we are in this world, right? Sometimes we don't see how wonderful the world is, right? We may have a situation like one little shitty thing happening, right? Like, for example, trying to think. Like I right now am in this situation where they're not going to sell us the house that we're living in. We definitely would like it's definitely the harder road. We want to when I manifested like my forever property, this is where I manifest every time. So I was having a huge problem being able to move on and even like really like legitimately look for other properties to like purchase or improve or whatever because I really was holding on. And I was like, why is he doing this to me? Why will he not sell this place to me? And I had to stop and say, I am really frustrated with this. And I'm really like, I was playing victim in it, right? Like, why would he not sell? I'm like, it's not about that. So this is not the place that's meant for me. The uncomfortable lie is that, I kept telling myself was that one day. The unpleasant truth was get over it. It's not happening. But, if I just was like wrapped up in this whole like, oh, he won't sell us this place. So awful. I really want this. I really want this place, but I want it, right? It's also realizing that shit's not always going to work out. It's going back to like, it is what it is, but now I got to make it something different, right? Now I got to make it something different. When I lost my mom, the year I lost my mom, I was the most sad sack of victim that ever was, right? And that's what happened when I got through that grief work and did that grief work, is I realized that one part of my life can't control every part. So if you're right now living in victimhood from one specific thing, right? If one thing is holding you into that victim mentality, understand that that's one part of you. Be the victor everywhere else, right? And you can work on that victim spot. But you have to learn to control how you feel about what's happening to you, right? Now, what I'm going to tell you is this. Your reality, your perception is your reality. Your perception is your reality. I have the perception of a victor, right? Is that he's not going to sell me this place. So then I am going to manifest and I'm going to claim something bigger, better, and more beautiful than I could ever imagine. And I'm going to start putting feelers out. I ask on Facebook, hey, anybody have any land? There's nothing on for sale right now, but somebody watching might have that. The victor says, in spite of there's no inventory, there's none of these things, that I am going to continue to persevere and move forward. Right now, I'm going to say, I am grateful. I have this home. I have a roof over my head. It is not exactly what I want it to be, because I want to remodel and upgrade and do all the things and rearrange, but it's not mine to do that with, right? Yep, that's where I am because of one traumatic event in my life. And we start telling ourselves and telling the world, this is the other notes that came in. And I knew today it's only been 28 minutes. It feels like it's been 3 hours. The energy that's come out of me and the things I've had to say. I do not like being like the tough love guru, right? I like being like, take care of yourself and don't compare yourself and all of those things. But sometimes people miss the bigger point. The bigger point is taking that self-care, right? And doing something with it, taking the tools and then doing something with it. Understanding that just getting your nails done is not fixing things, right? That's hygiene. That's a start. That's a move in the right direction. And that's where the unpleasant truth comes forward, right? This is where today I was like, well, the people who were victims are not going to like me. They're going to cancel me. They're going to like turn the TV off, or the computer off, or they're going to scroll through me. But do I want to, you are the sum of who you surround yourself with. I'm here to be a light and a beacon for those of you who need to come out of that victim place into that victor place. But at the same time, I need to talk to the people who are ready to be victors. I need to talk to the people who are ready to hear the unpleasant truths, right? This is a victim person. Who is this person? That's victim language. Get off that victim language. What's harder? What's harder, staying in the situation you're in and being broken, or doing the work to fix it? And I get that. And I'm glad that you said that. This is vulnerable. This is something that makes such a difference. This is what we're here to help, right? I want you to do this, okay? The one I didn't put up here, the other thing that came in is that a victim looks outward. A victim looks at all the things outward and tries to like blame and silo and fix, and it's just too hard. A victor looks inward, right? A victor looks inward, and that's where the shadow work comes in. That's where what are the things that I can do? And I'm going to be honest, when I went from victim to victor, let me tell you what I had to do. When I went from victim to victor, I'm going to go back to this job thing. It is. And like I said, Strange is not showing me it's Beth. Okay, Beth, baby doll. Yeah. And so what I'm going to tell you is this, right? It is hard, but it's worth it, right? When I went from, and this is what I'm going to tell you, right? When this is the hard thing, right? For me, when I talked about those like situations about like, oh, I got fired, blah, blah, blah. That was not a made up. That was my reality, right? When I lost my job at Selective Insurance, that was the last like P&C. I left Travelers to go to this other company. It was not a fit. I hated it. I was already burnt out on what I was doing. So they were like, their big thing was be on time. I don't care if you stay late. I stayed late all the time. I worked through lunch all the time. I outperformed all of my coworkers, but I was 5 minutes late. I'm always been late, right? And when I lost my job, they said I lost my job because I had a tardiness record, right? And they're like, you were on probation for tardiness. You were tardy, blah, 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 right? I blamed. I looked outward. I found all the reasons why it was somebody else's fault. When I looked at that, and here's the thing, most of our trauma, most of the shit going on in our life, let's just be honest about it. This is a church you've never been to before. I use bad language, right? Most of the shit going on in our world, most of the bad stuff happening, the nasty stuff happening are because of our choices. We are a party to our misery. We live in it. We say, well, we don't have an option. We got to do these things. You always have a choice. And that was what this is like the jump off from the do hard things talk the other day, right? When you make hard decisions, right? When you make hard choices, life gets easier. When you make easy choices, life gets harder. This is what it's going into, right? Victims make easy choices. Victor makes hard choices. It might be hard in the moment, but it's going to make your life better. The poem Robert Frost wrote, "The Road Less Traveled." I was as a traveler, I stood at the end of the wood. There was a road. There was two choices. Understand that there's a timeline right now where all the other choices that you didn't make are playing out. And if you continue to choose shitty relationships, you decide to make shitty choices with your money, right? Maybe it's like, well, you have this bill due, or you can go spend $1,000 at the mall, right? Or on Amazon. And you're like, well, the $10 on Amazon is not going to make a huge difference in the overall scheme of things, but that's $10 you had to pay a bill. That's $10 you had to get out of debt that you could have saved, right? So when we make those easy choices, for the moment, right? We are so programmed for this immediate serotonin drop, right? We're so in need of this immediate happiness that we are filling our life. This is what I'm talking about, right? And some of y'all are like, holy shit, she's calling me. I feel attacked, right? Victims feel attacked. Victors feel pushed. So I want you to not feel attacked in this, but I want you to feel pushed to start making better decisions, to start making better choices, right? To start looking at your own instant gratification society, 100%. But here's what I want you to do, right? Because we are being conditioned to be victims, right? You are being told by your media, by your politicians, by your educators, by your people and your employers, they want you to stay the victim. Because victims don't do shit about the circumstance. They live in it. They wallow in it. They spend money to try to make it better, and it doesn't fix it. And they stay in the cycle of keeping the people that want you to stay a victim in power. Wow, that came out. Didn't expect that to come out, but it's the truth, right? The people who want you to make, and a lot of y'all will tell you this, if you're struggling with relationships, victims can be controlled. Victims can be maneuvered and controlled and put into their place, right? But where the victim says, just leave me alone, let me be in my little wallow, my pity party, the victor says, keep making me better. Keep pushing me to be better. Keep telling me about myself, right? And I am the friend who will tell you about yourself. And I have friends of mine who are victims, who are lifelong victims, because they continue to tell themselves and everyone they know their victim story, right? Have you ever met someone and the first thing they tell you is the trauma of their life? Yep. So Melanie says, I feel there are always two roads, and choosing the right one is a hard choice. One road is smooth and full of flowers and sunshine. The second road is full of rocks, roots, and rain. It's the harder road. We always choose what's easier so we don't have the harder road to walk, right? Nothing in life comes easier. But here I'm going to tell you this, Melanie, right? Do you know, like, the story behind Iceland and Greenland, and like the way that they were named and all the things? Like, they tried to make Greenland like sound beautiful. It's, you know, it's not that kind of thing. Like the whole, like, that's what I was taught in school. Like, I've never been to either place. I don't know if you ever have, but like they wanted to like trick people and call this beautiful place Iceland so no one would want to go there, right? That's like the mental thing, right? That was the reason. So I'm going to tell you this. Some of us will like, well, that's got to be full of ice and rock and rain, and I'm never going to go explore that because it's obviously the hard choice. Let's go to Greenland and see the green, right? So what I'm going to tell you is this. A lot of times that the road that is full of rocks and rain and roots, right, it is disguised that way. But once you get over that first hill, then that path is sunshine. And that sunshine choice, that road that's so easy to walk on, that road is only easy to walk on in that moment. And that first step into that path, that then it closes in behind you, kind of like the maze in Harry Potter, right? It looks like it's just a corn maze, and it's like it comes alive, because that's what happens when you make that easier choice, right? Give you an example. Okay, give you an example. Sorry, y'all, I have not had coffee, and like this is like taking a lot of energy out of me. It's like more than I anticipated it to do. Like, I know, for example, I have had friends who we took different paths out of high school, right? Out of high school, you're a senior in high school, you have two paths to take, right? You can go, I went down the road of college, and I didn't really have any like boyfriends in high school. I was very involved in high school. If I rely on spirit, the answer comes. And we're going to talk about that, Dolores. We're going to talk about that, okay, in just a moment. And I'm going to leave that up there, y'all, so I can come back to this, right? And I'm taking this back to like a very pivotal moment, and it's really like new. It's really one of those things that's kind of like got me fired up, because I have nieces and nephews right now, and the majority of my nieces and nephews, the bulk of them, right? I've got a bunch, but the bulk of them are of that just getting out of high school, just getting ready to get out of high school in that early age. So, and I'm on my timeline, so I'm going to call it out, whatever. So I've got a niece who went, my oldest niece, and then like I have younger nieces. And I want to shake the crap out of those kids, right? Because I've been in those shoes, and I'm like, stop trying to take the easier road. Right now, you are young, you are full of life. Take the harder road. Oh, well, that's gonna be a lot of work to go to college there. You're damn right it is, but it's gonna pay off in the end, right? So I know this because I have been on that path, right? I always knew that I wanted to go to college. That was always in my like stars. From the time I was small, we talked about college. It was always in my stars. So the end of high school, I have friends of mine, right? So we have college people, then we have the workforce people, then we have the people like, I don't know, I wasn't ready for this. My parents never provided me any kind of direction. I don't know what the hell is going to happen, right? And I had one friend who we kind of went separate paths, right? She went I'm just going to go do my thing, and I'm going to do this stuff. At the end of my freshman year, I come home and go to the hospital and watch her give birth to her first child. She was living with her boyfriend in high school, like the last semester of high school. She moved in with him. She had a baby. And at that point, right, life changed. I went out and I lived my 20s and my teens and all of the things to where I was not married. I did not have children. I was single as a Pringle. I loved to go out and party. I owned bars and restaurants. And I came home from college and did all the things and had all the friends. And we kind of settled back in. My friend is like married, working at a convenience store, all the things, right? And if we have a conversation, she's going to be like, well, this is what happened. This is what happened. I'm like, no, we had the same opportunities. You just made a different choice. Now, I'm not saying that my choice was right and her choice was wrong, or that my path was better and her path was less than. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that we all have choices, right? We all have choices. There was a timeline, there was a reality where we did opposite things. I went down this path and she went down this path. And that is playing out somewhere in the world. But at the end of the day, like I explained to her, because her marriage didn't work out, she had some custody issues. She's had some financial issues. She's had all of these things to happen. And what I told her was this, and that's my friend that's been a victim her whole life, right? Her story is always about the things that didn't happen and the things that, number one, you have the choice, right? You have the choice to make. It's your choice. It's your choices, right? Now, let me tell you the choices that were made, and we talk about this and owning your own shit. She's like, well, you want to talk all this crap, but whenever you came home, she was going through a divorce. She needed somewhere to stay. She was my roommate for a little while, right? Now, she had a kid who was with their dad. I'm not saying anything bad. People make their choices. Now, I was partying. I was going out. I didn't have those responsibilities. I invited anyone who wanted to go have fun to have fun. Well, don't blame me because, well, you invited me out. I didn't go spend time with my kid because we were going out. I was like, you had a kid. You made the choice to have a kid. I did not. I invited you, but you could have said no. And I see tons of people in this day and age, right? And I'm not saying that moms don't deserve to go out. I'm not saying that moms don't deserve to have a life, right? I'm not saying that. I am saying that if you make the choices as a mom of kids and that you choose to go out and party while your kids are with babysitters, and then in 10 years you want to cry victim, that's a problem. So what I'm telling you is whatever moment you are in right now, I want you to look at your choices. I want you to know that whether you do or you don't, it's your decision. Whether you will or you won't is your decision. And how your life turns out is 1,000 million, 100,000, nobody else's, not anybody else but you. Where you are standing in this moment, where you are in this season of your life, it is 100% because of your choices. The good, the bad, the ugly, the pretty, the right, the wrong. Now, whether you have made every wrong choice or whether you have made every right choice, you can still be a victim or a victor because it's how you respond to all of that. You don't have to stay in your current situation. Beth just said, shit is hard right now. I need a lot of working to do, right? I need a lot of working to do. Guess what? If life and the situation you're right now is not where you want to be, then you have the choice. There's always the two roads. Just take the other path. Just change how you respond to that. Dolores says, I have sometimes felt the best decision is no decision. If I rely on spirit, the answer comes. Now, Dolores, I want you to understand this. Sometimes spirit motivates. And you have to know the difference between spirit or source or God or prayers being answered and your ego and your insecurities and the shadow work need to be done. Because I know a lot of times I have made choices thinking that I'm being called to do it. And damn if it wasn't ego and it wasn't getting in my way, right? So you need to reflect and go in and determine if you're hearing spirit correctly. Because the answer will come to you if you meditate and pray on it. I don't doubt that at all. But you have to be willing to at least ask the question and look for the decision. You can't stand in life and you can't go through life waiting for something just to magically happen. Now, I do believe in all in divine time. I do believe that. But staying, it's like that story I told, right? About whenever there's a flood coming and the person is in their house and they're like, the cop comes by and says, "Hey, we're evacuating. A storm is coming. Come with me." And the person goes, "No, no, 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 no. God is going to save me," right? Or then the floodwaters get a little higher and a guy comes by with the boat and says, "Hey, we're saving people. Get in the boat. We'll take you to safety." No, 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 no. I'm waiting because God is going to protect me. The floodwaters get higher. Now the person's on the roof of their house and the helicopter comes by with the cop hanging from the thing with the bucket. Like, "Come on, the water's going to take you away. Let me save you. Come on to safety." And the person goes, "No, no, no, no. My God is coming. My God is going to save me." And then the water comes and it floods the house and it kills the person and takes the house out. And the person goes up to heaven and goes to see God or source or spirit. It says, "Why have thou forsaken me? Why did you not save me from this flood?" And God and source and spirit goes, "Bitch, I sent you a boat. I sent you a cop. I sent you a helicopter. You didn't pay attention." So I get that you need to like allow source and spirit and God to give you answers, but be aware and a victor enough to hear the answers and to do the work that it takes. Because a lot of times our blessings, our answers to prayers come disguised as hard work. It comes disguised as self-discipline. It comes as, on a diet, whatever. Sometimes what your blessing is that you have to do the hard work and you have to make a decision and you have to stand in it. So I want you to also think of it in that respect, right? Your choices. Heather says it's never too late to make the hard choice. Change your path, come into your own power, become powerful and bold, right? Now, powerful, right, is stepping into the power. It is trusting in the choices. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Because somebody's going to hear this today. They're like, "I got you, Tammy. I'm going to do this, right? I'm going to get this done," right? I actually thank God I got the job. I did. Otherwise, I wouldn't have got home from hubby. I may not happen today if I did. I'm so glad that you did get home and you had him, right? But here's what I'm going to tell you, right? When you continue to make self-destructive choices because they're easy, because it's what you know, you're going to continue to create your life of bullshit. It's also important for this. This is the big one for me. When I talked about that job that I lost and how forever, powerful and bold, not bitchy, right? Powerful and bold and not bitchy. I feel sometimes like I'm being bitchy to y'all. I feel sometimes like I'm being mean because I have also been conditioned, because I believe that we all are like victim victor. We kind of flip flop. I believe I'm more of a victor than a victim because I believe all things are possible. I believe that I have the power to create my life in the way that I want it. But the way that I did that, like I talked about that job, is it took me forever to realize I made the choice to get fired. Me losing my job that day, the day that they walked me to the elevator, the day that I showed my ass and flipped everybody off, it was like, "I don't need this job, man. I did that to myself, right? I put myself in the position of unemployed. No one did that to me. I didn't fire myself. I didn't quit my job, but I did the things to get fired. Looking back on it, I hated that job. I was self-sabotaging. So a lot of coming from victim into victor, a lot of coming from victim, and hear this, and coming into victor is owning your own bullshit. It's being able to be self-aware enough, to be emotionally intelligent enough to understand that you have some fault in this world. I'm not saying that we're at fault for all the bad things that happen to us. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Sometimes there are shitty human beings in this world who do shitty things to hurt innocent people, right? There are shitty people in this world, and I'm not saying that you have to own that, right? But you have to look at what choice you made put you in that situation. Maybe it is a shitty human being in your life, but did you choose that versus the red flags? Did you see the red flags? And here's the thing, it is not to victim blame, it is not to victim shame. What I am trying to make you understand is that every shitty, bad, awful thing going on in this world is a result of our choices. And I want you to recognize the shitty choice that you may have made. And in the moment where it didn't seem shitty, you had no idea this was coming, to be more self-aware, because they say hindsight is 2020, right? Hindsight is 2020. Well, guess what? It's only 2020 if you autopsy what you did and you don't do that going forward. You make better choices. You can't go back and change that. I'm not blaming. I'm not shaming. I'm not saying that what's going on in your life right now is not a shitty, sucky situation. Not taking away any of that. However, what I am saying is that we are self-prophecies, right? We can make good choices. We can make bad choices. And we don't always make good choices when we think that we are, right? So it's important to own it, to know that moving forward, I will learn. I will learn from that. Because I tell you all the time, things don't happen to me, they happen through me. There's a lesson or a blessing, and sometimes the blessing is the lesson. Even if we don't love it, even if it sucks, it kills us, it breaks us to our lowest point, the things that have taken me to the place where I didn't think I could get back up, the things that broke me, the things that I thought where I was never going to have the comeback from, those are the things that fortified my foundation for that stronger build. If you have been torn down to nothing and you are wallowing in that nothingness and you are laying there and you're going, why me? Why me? I want you to stop that bullshit this moment. I want you to look up to your God, to whoever it is you pray to Source, to Buddha, to Allah, to Ho Chi Minh Trail. I don't give a shit who it is, what it is, your whatever, your divinity. I want you to say, thank you. Thank you. Because what brings you down to your lowest takes away all of it, right? It just clears it's one of those things when you get broken down like that. In 1 year, and within 2 years' time, I lost my mom, lost my job, I lost my house, and I lost my car. I lost me. I was just done, right? I was done. But guess what? Started from the bottom. What you gonna do now? Then to do and grow back from the top, right? So you have to build on that, right? And I know the things that made me do that. And I was like, when I rebuild, my house is not gonna be built on the sand, right? My house will be built upon the rock, like the wise men, right? The wise man built his house upon the rock, right? The dumb man built his house upon the sand. The rains go wild. It's a little song we sing in Bible school, right? Because it was built on the rock. I'm like, I am the rock. Like, what I thought was going to kill me did not. I didn't think I could get through it. I ate myself. I made bad food choices. I made bad money choices. I made just every bad choice you can make. And while I laid in that bottom place going, why me? Look what they've done to me. Stop hurting my feelings. When I laid there as that victim, the victor found their way. And I say it all the time. And it's not the setback, it is the comeback. So if you're living in a victim place right now, if you're like, nothing can get me, everything is awful and everything is worse, I'm going to tell you right now, whether you're going to succeed or you're going to fail, it's completely up to you. Whether you're going to come out of this on the other side as a stronger victor, or you're going to come out of this as a bigger victim than you've ever been. If that's going to be your new story, right? Because that could have been my new story, right? I could have lost everything, lost my mom, all the things, and you would have met me and I'm like, hey, Tammy, nice to see you. Well, is it really? Because I'm back in Fargo having to rent now because I lost my house and driving an older car because I lost my car. And, did you know my mom passed away? Oh, don't look at me, I'm fat. I could have lived in that place. I could have used that as my cushion, as my safe, oh, poor Tammy. Poor Tammy. I don't want y'all to say that. I didn't want to say that about me, right? I don't want you to say that about you. I don't want you to believe. I don't want anybody to believe that. And I love when like it's victim talk. When I'm like, you can do this, we can get through it, we can do anything, and you tell me why you can't, and you give me 5 reasons why right now is not a good time, and I'm gonna start tomorrow. Right? Um. Yeah. Right. I want you, every one of you, number one, to know that you are divinely made, right? You are divinely made. You are an amazing person. Maybe you've not always made amazing decisions. Maybe your choices have not put you in the place where you wanted to be. But guess what? My choices didn't put me where I wanted to be, but I owned my choices and I made better ones. I learned from my mistakes and I moved forward. And I am no different than any single one of you watching this. I put my leggings on, sitting on my bed, aching like everybody else, right? I have one pants leg at a time, right? I am no different. So when I tell y'all that you can write your own story, you can write your own novel. And when I talked about the why me, like why me? I want you to change that to why not me? Why not me? Right? When I looked at all the shitty things happening in my life, I'm like, why me? Well, why not me? Why not me? Someone who has the wherewithal and the self-reliance and the victor mentality and all of this love and light that just wants to come out. Would I have found any of those things had that not happened to me? Right? And I tell you all the time, it's not the setback, it's the comeback. And this comeback has been amazing. Sometimes you got to get knocked down to your lowest point to build the mansion that you were always supposed to live in. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know until you know. You just don't realize it. And when you are living in the everything's awful, then you can't live in the let's rebuild better. When you're living and look at my foundation, it's all destroyed because of this, it wiped it out, this situation, right? When they look at that, right? When you see people after these natural disasters, right? Oh, I love that, Dolores. Oh my gosh. That's going to be a new thing that I adopt. Y'all, listen to this. I had a friend let me complain about things 3 times. If I put in no work to fix it, we couldn't talk about it anymore. It was a great tool. My husband say that if you're not gonna fix it, don't bitch about it, right? It's the same thing. If you're not gonna vote, you can't complain about the politics, right? Thank you, Heather. I love your passion. It's not easy for you either. Thanks for setting an example. And here's the thing, it is not. I am live on my personal timeline. Every person in my family who's been through all of this with me, every person is my friend who has seen the shitty versus the good. All the people who have not helped me. Like I said, I wasn't, when everything got torn down, I was just waiting to see who's going to grab a hammer, because not everybody's come along for the rebuild, right? Not everybody's been on this Habitat for Humanity project. Just saying, a lot of people didn't come along for the ride. And I know that I have family members who get mad that I don't spend a lot of time with family, but I don't care if you're blood or your water. If you are not going to fill my soul with good energy and you're going to make me feel less than, I'm not going to be around you, right? And Dolores, I love that. And I'm going to tell you this, right? When you know that, you're cognizant of it, right? When you know that, you're cognizant of it. But here's the message for today, right? Self-care sometimes look like tough love. Like self-love is also tough love sometimes. And you have to be real with yourself. That is shadow work, right? That is shadow work. I don't love anyone less, right? I don't love them less. I say this all the time. I love none of my friends, none of my family, no one that I've loved in my life do I love them any less with any less of my heart. And this is the important part. I just learned to love me more than I ever have. And I understand that in an equation of relationship and all of the things, I matter as much as the other party. My feelings matter as much as the other party. My well-being matters just as much as the other party. And when you go into a relationship as equals, right? And I don't mean that from like, if I'm talking to the prime minister of whatever, I don't walk into that room feeling less than that person, right? Because of a title that they carry. I will pay the office of whatever they do respect, and I will give them their respect for maybe things that they know that I don't, and for titles. I think you have to earn respect. You don't just get it because you got a title. But if you have earned it and gotten to a position, then I'm going to allow you to know things that I don't know. But in that interaction between us with personal interactions, you treat me I'm no less than you. I don't care who I'm talking with, who I'm in a room with, who I'm interacting with. Don't talk down to me because I am no less than you. And I will not allow myself to be treated as less than. So when you walk into these rooms and you've changed and you've done the shadow work and you've done true self-love, you've done that true self-tough love where you've looked at the ugly parts of yourself and you've accepted those, and you've given yourself grace and freedom from being blamed, and you live in that guilt of those bad places, because we've all got them, right? You don't know light unless you have dark, right? I can be an asshole. I can say some mean stuff, right? And it's just stop yucking your own yum. And I love that. Sometimes I get down and think of what you say. Stop yucking your own yum and move on, right? Here's the thing. We can have our moment, right? If your relative was a neighbor, would you give them the time of day? That's how I decide. I love big, right? I love big. And I am able to get over things really easy. Like, I don't let things dwell on me. But when I put myself in a room of people and it's a lot of victim mentality, it drains my energy. So it's not about not wanting to be in the room with them like that for me. Okay, Kalima, I'm gonna talk about this. Okay, that's how I like this too. Okay. It's difficult for me because I can go from being tough love on myself in a positive way to just playing hard on myself in a negative way real fast. Okay. Here's what I'm going to tell you about that. Change your relationship with the negative way real fast, right? If you feel like you're just being mean to yourself, then that is not tough love. Tough love, I'm going to give you an example of tough love versus negative self-talk. Negative self-talk is, you suck. Why are you not doing this? We are the worst. That's the being hard on yourself, being negative on yourself. Like, I should have done this, and shooting all over yourself. Well, I should have done that. I should have done this, and I should have done that. Tough love is, I know that I've made shitty choices in the past, and this is a hard choice for me to make. And I'm going to make the harder choice because I love myself. I'm going to get up this morning and take a shower when I don't want to. I'm going to say no to that person because they steal my joy, and be okay with that. I'm going to set boundaries. Those are the things. Looking at the things that you've done. And here's the thing, like there's a weird fine line with that, right? So here's what I'm going to tell you. I do shadow work, and I know the shitty things that have happened and the things that I've done that have not been great. And I say to myself this all the time. I'm like, I'm giving myself tough love, and I'm owning the mistakes that I've made, but I'm going to forgive myself and go forward with gentleness, ease, and grace. I don't live in those moments, right? But what I'm saying is the tough love is doing that shadow work. It is going inside and realizing the things that you've got to do better about boundaries and making better choices the next time and really realizing it. And if you're not working with someone, I would suggest that you work with someone. I really would, because they can help you work through that stuff and give you specific homework to do, all of those things. Now, I know that you can't do it this year, but that is what the retreats are for. The retreats are for people who want to make better choices, who want to move forward and get unstuck with energy, who want to learn more about meditative practices and how to use a spiritual toolbox to move forward in their personal development. And we have 4 spots available for Woo Woo 101. We have 1 shared room. You be Heather Johns' roommate, or we have 3 single beds now available for twins or bunks that you are able to jump in and enjoy a 4-day immersive women's only woo-woo 101 retreat with yoga and mediumship and tarot and crystals and meditation and shamanic journeying and sound baths and all the things that are going to help you to get through some of the negative self-talk and all of that. The biggest goal is to help you move forward with gentleness, ease, and grace. Hopefully moving into the retreats next year, we're going to go into retreats that are in larger spaces. Our intimate space only allows for us to have women. It's a vulnerable experience for a 101, but at some point we walk into like couples and all of that stuff, okay? But right now, we're just doing it for women. But I do have someone who will work with you one-on-one. If you can't afford a retreat and you need some time to do some healing work, I have people in the industry that can help you. So let me know and reach out. I'm a resource. Reaping the rewards of the hard work is amazing. The peace and good feeling that comes in is priceless. It really is. And that's the true self-love that I'm talking about. That's the self-love I'm talking about. And the self-tough love I'm talking about is doing that shadow work that is tough. It is telling yourself that I own some of this shit that I'm putting myself through, and I'm going to do better the next time. And it's not about yelling at yourself, right? I'm doing that for y'all today, right? I'm letting you know all the things, victim, victor, whatever. But self-love and self-care is taking the time to recognize, to own it, and to move forward with the best gentleness, ease, and grace that you can in the moment, giving yourself grace, right? Even stopping and just taking a moment. So this week, we're gonna do our crystal affirmation card. It has been an hour and 5 minutes. So that is victim versus victor. Tell me in the comments now, right? Tell me which one you are going to be next time you see me. Tell me what you are working to be. Are you going to work to be a victor? Can I get a hell yeah, a victor? Like, I want to be a victor. That's going to be your affirmation this week. I am a victor. I want everyone to affirm that in the comments right now for me. I am a victor. I am a victor. I am going to win over this. I love myself. I do the work. Just I'm a victor is fine for the comments. And then we are going to pull our affirmation card for our crystal card for the week. And I'm gonna dismiss church. I know y'all got to go to get some food and you got to take some deep breaths, right? And speaking of deep breaths, let's talk about that. I want to see I am a victor. Hell yeah, you are. I want to see it. I got 10 people watching. I need to see 10 I am a victors, right? I'm a victor. I love myself. I'm going to do the work. I love it. I'm a victor. I will make it happen. I love it. Keep them coming, y'all. Now, this week on the internet, I have been seeing this post. And the post is talking about Moses speaking to Jesus on the mount. And God, because Jesus wasn't around yet. Love it. I love it. Beth, you need to talk to us about this retreat. I think it would do well for you. Let me know if you're more interested in that. We do have payment plans offered for the retreat. There's a way to get in for like $100. Well, this month it'll be like $200, and then $100, a little over $100 a month, like between $100 and $130 a month. I am a victim. Victor. I will forge forward. I love it, Dolores. I love it. Now, we're going to pull our daily affirmation card. I'll tell you the story real quick because it's Sunday sermon. So Moses was on the mount talking to God. He asked God for his name. God gave his name as YHWH. Now, and I love it. I love it. So the name of God, and the Israelites or the Jewish people have, because it's the Old Testament, they put some vowels in it like Yahiwah or something like that. But the way that the story goes and the way that the thing was typed, don't know if it's true or not, but I absolutely love it. I'm going to tell it to you and share it with you. You know, I saw it on Facebook, so it must be true, right? But those two words without the vowels, because, you know, as Americans, we love vowels. We add them to everything. But those two words, right, YHWH, they are the sound of breath. God was saying that his name, we speak his name in our very breathing. It's the life force, air, the breaths that we take, the filling up our bodies and our lungs, right? When a baby cries its first breath, it takes air in. That is God. That is its soul entering. When we take our last breath, we don't breathe anymore. We breathe out our last breath. We say God's name is the last thing that we say. When we say it for the last time and it leaves our bodies, that is when our bodies are no longer on this plane, or our souls are no longer in these meat suits. So when you think about the name of God being the breath work, you know how important taking those moments of silence. And if you're a Christian or whatever, right? Um, you get kind of like, I don't know how I feel about Tammy. Is she sacrilegious? I'm not. I'm not yucking your religion. I'm not yucking anything. I just have a different world religion view, and that's it, right? But think about it. YHWH is we breathe in, we breathe in our life force. We breathe in the air, the oxygen that this earth provides us. It's our life force, and we breathe it out. So with every breath, we are worshiping God. With every breath, we are praising our creator. And I thought, wow, I got goosebumps from it. I said, this must be true. If it's not, it's a beautiful story, and I love it so much. And I love the fact that we can give praise every time we take a breath. And I know that if you're watching this on my timeline, most of y'all are in church. You're like, I'm not watching that heathen. But if you watch this later on, I promise you I'm not a heathen. I promise you I'm not a Satan worshiper. I promise you I'm not any of those things. What I am saying is that how we worship, I don't call it God or Jesus or whatever because I have friends that are Muslim. I don't call it God or Jesus or whatever because I have friends that are other religions, and I don't yuck anybody's yum. And I feel like universe or source or divinity, it's inclusive language, right? For me, that's important because I want everyone to feel comfortable. And when I'm speaking about this, I'm speaking to everybody. So if you're leaving right now to go to church, and maybe you left and you're coming back and you watch this on the replay from church or whatever, it's Sunday morning, I want you to know that this is how I worship, right? This is how I give my weekly devotional. I do it lots of times, but when I was up all night with this message, so I know that it was divinely guided. I know that somebody here needs to hear this, right? So we always do this on Sunday sermon. People that are in Hometown Hippie or other places have seen this. They know the rules. Y'all understood the assignment. Tell me what we're going to do in the comments. We're going to take 3 deep breaths. We're going to smell the what and blow out the what. Tell me in the comments if you know what we're doing. So this is what we do. We pull a weekly affirmation crystal card. What this is going to do is we take some deep breaths in. We're going to slow things down. We're going to all put our mindset on, right? The message that we as a collective need for this week, right? That we as a collective. Now, if you're watching this in a couple of different places, my timeline, this is just what I do, right? If you're watching in Hometown Hippie, you're like, I signed up for something completely different. Love it. Heather got it right. Smell the cake, blow out the candles. We're going to, right? Smell the cake, blow out the candles. That's right, Kalima. You know how it works. Smell the birthday cake, blow out the candles. That is a way, if you've not done deep breathing exercises before or slowed down your thoughts or started like a meditative breathing practice. I call it breath work. I do it daily. That's a good way to think about it, right? Because I know people are watching that are not normally in the places that I normally do this. So we're going to take some deep breaths in. Smell the cake. Smells so good. Deeper. Hold it. Blow out your candles, right? Blow out your candles. Blow them out. Smell the cake, blow out the candles, okay? And then we pull an affirmation card, which I'm divinely guided to pull. It's going to give us a crystal that's going to be like a good crystal for the message for the week. And it's going to give you some writing prompts. Because here's what I'm going to tell you. If you are really looking to do the work, you're really looking to do that tough self-love, that shadow work, you're going to need to start journaling. You're going to need to take a gratitude journal, a dream journal, just when things come into your head to write them down. And this normally gives us a great writing prompt, says some core questions. So I'm gonna tell you already, I know I can feel it, right? That we're gonna have a powerful card today, maybe more than one. And it's gonna give you some writing prompts. It's gonna tell you, like, here's some core questions to ask yourself. If you are serious about moving out of the victim mentality into the victor mentality, my suggestion to you is going to be to do this writing prompt this week. It is going to be to stop and smell the birthday cake and blow out the candles and ask yourself whatever these core questions are. Now, some of this stuff might resonate with you. Some of it might not. If you're just along for the ride and enjoy my energy, then watch it and don't do it. But if you'd like to take away from these talks a little bit of like homework or a little bit of like ability to keep the momentum of how this makes you feel going, this is a great place to start with these core questions. We'll talk about those in a second. But in the meantime, we're going to pull a crystal card. And I feel like Source is guiding today, and the moon has been big, the energy has been big, and I know I'm going to do some shuffling. These cards are I've had some really interesting do the work, reap the benefits. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I call on my angels, guides, and my helpers, and all that are there to assist me to make me a clear and perfect channel for the message that I'm about to give. I appreciate y'all for being here through the message that I just gave. But let this card be to the highest and best good of the groups that are watching, whether it be on YouTube, on Facebook, on my timeline, or on the Hometown Hippie Elevated Edibles group, because Lord knows we need it, right? Lord knows we need it. This is the card. It's been on my hand. I don't know what it is. Oh. When I tell y'all that the Lord, the Spirit, the universe, whoever is always looking out, when I tell y'all this, because here's the thing. We just talked about this. It is chrysocolla. It's a beautiful stone. And the words underneath that are start fresh. Start fresh. Look at that. Start fresh. I'm trying to get my thing to do this. Let's look and see what it says about the I can't even say the word. Chrysocolla. Y'all know I'm so bad at saying words, and I just really am. I'm just so bad at saying words. Okay. Chrysocolla. All right. Start fresh. Start fresh. It's time to start fresh. Close the door behind you so you can move forward and open a new one. Every day is a blank canvas, an opportunity to boldly go after the things in life you want and leave behind anything you don't. Y'all, this book just jumped out of my hand. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to read it like it is. So chrysocolla, so find you one of these, okay? It's time to start fresh. Close the door behind you so you can move forward and open a new one. Every day is a blank canvas, right? So you can be a victor today. If you've been a victim, close that door and let's go through and be the victor tomorrow. Every day is a blank canvas and an opportunity to boldly go after the things in life you want and leave anything behind you don't. Holy shit. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. You do not need to settle for the status quo or accept what already is. The status quo, what already is victim mentality. This is telling you, you can be the victor. Just close the door to that victim bullshit. Close the door. Slam the door on that victim nonsense and step into your power as the victor. Boldly go. It's like the Star Trek just came into my ear. Do, 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 do. Boldly go where no man has gone before, right? You have the power to change your life and do things different every day. Choices. We just talked about this. It's time to live by an out with the old, in with the new, beautiful mentality. Hello, hallelujah. Can I get a hallelujah? Can I get a Medea? Hallelujah. Core questions. These are your writing prompts. These are your journals. This is how you get the work done this week. Number 1. What areas of your life are calling for a fresh start? Because here's the thing. It makes you stop and look at your life. Because when one thing is going bad, everything seems to be going bad. But when you stop and you look at what could be going better, you can really start to see it. Because we get caught in that victim of, woe is me, the sky is falling, when really it's only a little bitty thing, right? But when you're in the victim mentality, everything seems so dramatic. I don't know, that's crazy. Like, right? What can you say goodbye to, and what can you welcome into your life, right? Because here's the thing. We don't think we have room for blessings because our closet is full of bullshit, right? It's like, I can't add any more this to that because I have no room for it. But when you clear out all that clutter, when you clear out all of that which is not serving, when you release all of the things that are no longer needed in your life, that are just bringing you strife and pain and struggle and anxiety, think about all of the room you open up for your blessings, right? Think about all of the extra storage space you have for those things which do serve you, which those things that are going to make your life amazing. Because it's kind of like one of those things, and I'm getting all woo. Y'all know how I get. My Baptist preacher's coming out, right? if you have a shitty love life, if like you have been like through your share, good morning, Grace. If you've been through your share of nonsense and heartache and all of the things, and you keep that person right close to you, even though they're shitty, they're right there. You're never going to find love until you clear that out, right? You got to get rid of the old to bring in the new. Grace, you need to watch this from the beginning, girl. It's been on fire today. Second question is like, what can you say goodbye to and what can you welcome into your life? A lot of times, one door has to close before you can open the other one, right? Y'all understand that? You can't be like having all these doors open. Sometimes for you to be able to go through that next door, maybe they're back to back. Until you close this one, you can't even open this door. Say goodbye to that. It will just not serving you. It is not easy sometimes. It is hard sometimes. But that's what we're saying today, right? I'm not here to sugarcoat it. Do the hard thing. Do the harder thing. Hard things make easy life. Easy things make a hard life. Think of it that way. Here's your affirmation. I welcome the opportunities each new day brings. And I love that it says the opportunities, because here's what you're doing. You're speaking into existence opportunities. You're not saying, I welcome the struggles of the day and I will be able to face them, because language is important, right? Affirm what you want. Because if you say, I don't want that to happen, the only thing the universe hears is what you don't want to happen. Don't claim it unless you want it. I'm claiming it. I welcome the opportunities that each new day brings. I need to see that in the comments. I want you to affirm that right now, that you welcome the opportunities that each new day brings. Here's some additional homework. Today, tidy or redecorate a space. Welcome new life by adding fresh flowers or potted plants. I love that too, because I love to breathe in that new life of new plants, and herbalism is a big thing for me. I've got like plants over here on this one. I've got this whole thing about plants. I've got plants all over the house, and I'm actually looking at getting some new ones. We are doing just that. I welcome the opportunity each day brings, and I'm putting that up so people can see it, because that's what I want y'all to affirm in the comments for me. My throat is dry. My throat is tired. Hell yeah, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Chris Ocala, fresh starts, right? Fresh starts. Yeah, so I always feel like there's a need for cleansing and for cleaning and reclaiming energy and reclaiming room. And for a long time, which is interesting that this card came up today, is that I have been talking in my meditations and in my journaling about growth and expansion and having room to expand and having room to grow, and feeling like I am limiting myself and I'm limited. And the thing that keeps coming through in my journals is clear the clutter, clear the clutter, clear the clutter, right? And I have clutter everywhere. And the more I try, the more I get stuck in clutter. And yesterday, Evan moved like a bunch of clutter out of my back area. And my husband and I looked at it. We made a goal together that we would have the entire back half of our house decluttered by the end of March. Before April 1st, we're going to have our house decluttered. We're going to get rid of a lot of stuff, because we are looking to buy a new property. And we're like, the next time we move, we're going to have it's going to be a lot easier. All the clutter is going to be gone. We're going to get rid of the clutter. We do it every time we kind of move, we purge, right? Yeah. So she says that I've been purging everywhere. So a lot of times when you have that need to purge and get rid of things, it's because something big is coming. It is like a precipice of like growth and bigger things happening. So if you are getting that push to clean and declutter and rearrange, it's because you are making room for more abundance into your life. So that is a good sign, in my opinion, of what's to come for all of you who have had that need, that urge to move forward. So I'm going to leave you with this. I scheduled my purge for May 1st. So we scheduled ours to get done over the next several weeks. We have a lot of things, and it's going to take a little bit of time because, again, we can't control everything. We can't control how we react to it. So our son is in the process of moving his things out. So once all of that gets gone in the next week or so, hopefully the next week, I will have more room to put other things to move out of this room because there's stuff in here that needs to go, and all of that. Now, a couple of updates for the week, okay? A couple of updates for the week that I'm going to let y'all like do your thing. I know that I've kept y'all long enough today. An hour and 30 minutes. I was on fire. I told you it was going to be a long one today. I told you I was going to be hot today. My throat literally is hurting, like hurting. Monday mornings, Wake and Bake in the Hometown Hippie group at 9 a.m. That's going to be Monday and Friday are the lives for Wake and Bake. So if you are enjoying Wake and Bake, that's going to be, we're going to bookmark the ends of the beginning and the end of the week, which is Monday and Friday. Tuesday, we have no live. We have Sunday sermon. It's going to be all these places all the time. Monday morning at 9 a.m., we have Wake and Bake live mornings. Wednesday night is going to be our nighttime live. That is going to be What's Up Wednesday. That is going to be our live schedule for that. And that's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Wednesday night. So if you're a nighttime person, you can be there at night. And then Thursday is our 420 live. On Thursdays, we're going to go live at 420, just have a little fun. That'll be in the Hometown Hippie and on the YouTube channel. Most of these will be in those two places. I am stamping into my power. I have lots of new things on tap for Hometown Hippie with intentional cooking, some infused herbal concoctions. Not only are we going to just have our medicated, like our herbally medicated treats, but I'm also working with this this book as well to make some herbal teas and some concoctions that are like lavender and chamomile and all those things versus just our other treats. But that is coming at a later date. Right now, I'm still focusing on what I'm focusing on, but I am making room and learning and taking some classes on teaching some tinctures, some rubs, some teas, all the things. So stay tuned for all of that that's coming. I purged my entire house 2 times a year. I never noticed that. Yep, I love that. Yeah, OTs love it. So I've got a lot of things that I'm working on for the whole like Hometown Hippie lineup, right? So we have lots of things on tap. If you have not done so and you want some, if you are looking for those pineapple upside down cupcakes, those are strong. Please fill out the form because tomorrow morning, whatever's on the pre-order form is what I'm going to bake to. I am not going to, this is not in the regular lineup. It was just a big hit and I want to make sure people got them. But after this week, they're going to be gone. They're hard to make and they're potent to make. And I definitely undercharge for them, but I'm going to leave it what it is right now. So if you want some of those, you need to get on the list. If you've already paid for them, the first batches are all out on the way. They're all coming out. So that's done on that. On that note, y'all, thank you for watching. I appreciate y'all so very much. Don't forget, right? If you slide into that victim place, just remember you can start fresh every day. You can start fresh in that moment. It's not the setback, it's the comeback. Do not feel attacked, feel pushed. Do not make excuse, find a way, right? Do not think about what someone did to you, but think about what you're going to do for yourself. Don't think about, I can't succeed. Think about, I will succeed. Don't make excuses. Find a way. Just remember that you are stronger than your excuses. You are braver than you believe. And every day is a chance to be a better or a more alive version of yourself, right? A happier, more fulfilled version of yourself. If you need me, I will be back in the office at 10 a.m. tomorrow. I'll do 9 o'clock live, but I am off work. Like I said, I do the lives, but I will be back in the office 10 to 6, Monday through Friday is my office hours. So if you need me, please reach out during that time. I know a lot of y'all have found like one-off late night text. I've asked you not to do that. I'm just not responding now. So please be be cognizant. I'm just asking you to honor my time as well. Please try to hit me up during regular office hours. And I get it that things come up, but asking me if I had 2 caramels available at 2 o'clock in the morning is not a way to get a response from me. Just being honest, right? That is, I'm not trying to be a butthole or any of that, but if you would like to discuss things with me, please do it during office hours, because I'm setting boundaries for myself and I'm allowed to have boundaries. I'm allowed to have office hours. On that note, have a beautifully blessed week. I hope that you heard something that resonated. I feel like you did. I feel like I hopefully I can get a nap now. This is all out because I was up all night with this moon shining down and all these getting up and taking notes cards in the bathroom, trying to be quiet not to wake anybody up. So I'm going to go sit my butt. I'm cooking a big family dinner tonight, but I'm going to sit my butt in the recliner and get a little bit of this morning. And I love each and every one of you. Have a beautiful, blessed rest of your week, and know that you are divinely guided and you are loved. And I will talk to you all tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. for our Sunday, our Wake and Bake. Have a great day, and I'll talk to y'all later.